the idea of, of an election in a country like the United States or Canada or Spain or France or anywhere in the first world, because they're going to tell you the Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, the Iranians, these people are all crooks, but in the United States, it's supposed to be, obviously hack-proof. And what we're seeing right now is a system failed from top to bottom. Isn't it right?
That's right. That's right. The security on these machines, or the lack of security, is kind of like what you just saw with the assassination attempt with President Trump. There is no security. These are purposely, in my opinion, designed to cheat the votes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. This is Daniel Eschulin, and welcome to Astronaut Media. Today, my guest is Tina Peters. Before I can tell you who and what she is, I'm going to ask her to tell us who she is and why she's in the spotlight. Tina, thanks for joining us.
You bet, Daniel. Thank you so much, and thank you to your listeners. So I was the Mesa County clerk in Colorado that has had the whole Merrick Garland and global elite come down on me with a 10-count indictment for exposing the Dominion voting machines that were present in my county during the 20 and 2021 election. So the trial starts next week. They want to send me to prison for 20 years. I'm a Gold Star mom, which means I lost my Navy SEAL son while I was running for office of the elected clerk and recorder. So they don't like what we exposed, and they want to make an example out of me, Daniel.
So basically, you're facing multiple felony charges, including tampering with, if I'm not mistaken, election equipment, identity theft, and these charges are connected to your actions back in 2021. Now, again, if convicted, you said 20 years, but from what I understand, it could be even life in prison. Okay? Yeah. Now, why are they trying to make an example out of you and other people like you, other whistleblowers who know what happened across the entire country?
Right. So first of all, I want to address what they say in the media are the charges, because that's not what the charges are. The media wants to put out that I tampered with election equipment, but that is not what the indictment is. So it's really important to understand they're trying to paint in the public view, in the media, that I'm a criminal, that I broke into the people's election equipment, which is not true. As a matter of fact, I preserved the election record. So what the 10-count indictment is about, you can read it on my tinapeters.us website, and you can see the indictment there. You can also see the reports that came from the image that I did before Dominion and the Secretary of State came in to do what they call, Daniel, a trusted build, and after they left. And you can see in 3 different reports that I gave to law enforcement, and they did nothing, but instead came after me to silence me.
So let me ask you something else. So they call you, the media call you an election denier. It's like, conspiracy theorist, anti-vaxxer. So basically anybody who is on the right is that, all these bad words. I'm a conspiracy theorist. You're an election denier. Those of us who are not vaccinated, we're anti-vax, which means we're bad people in bed with Putin and Xi Jinping and all these horrible people the world over. So, but what is it that you're denying exactly?
Well, they want to still hold on to the failed narrative that the 2020 election was stolen, and or not stolen. That's
their narrative is that these are fair elections, that the United States is a constitutional republic, that in a constitutional republic you don't steal elections, that people vote and their votes are counted by honest and decent people who want honesty and decency to be shown to the entire world. That's their narrative, isn't it?
It most definitely is. And here's the issue. This is not just for America, although that's where America is in their sights, because they can't complete their new world order or their globalist agenda while America is still in power. So that's why you see all the infiltration of the military, with all the gay agenda and all this to break that down. You see the borders being infiltrated. You see the fentanyl. You see the child trafficking. All these things to try to destroy our country. by these, what I call selected individuals. So, at the crux of this is the elections, or I would call selections. On my website, you'll see selectioncode.com that tells the story. There's a movie there, but this is more important, Daniel. There are 71 countries right now by count that have had their elections influenced by these machines, by the corrupt globalists that have look at Venezuela, look at Brazil, look at the Philippines. The Philippines president called out these people for doing this. They knew the night of the election that it was flipped.
So let me ask you something else, because again, most people don't really understand how this works. Explain it to us. How does Dominion voting system work? And why were they able to steal the elections? Because most people think, well, this is electronic. You can't steal, you can't tamper with it because it's electronic. It's not like a piece of paper where I, scratch a number, I put an X, and somebody doesn't like it, they can throw that piece of paper out and use another one. And, with this system, actually, it's supposed to be, tamper-free. But how do these voting systems work in Dominion specifically? And why are they in all these different countries if the system is so corrupt?
Well, I would not just limit it to Dominion. Any of the Smartmatic platforms that Dominion, ESNS, Hard Civic, all these, anything that's a computer can be hacked. And we just saw this with the solar winds. We just saw this with the planes being grounded because of a Microsoft, glitch, which of course is Bill Gates, who is a big globalist. So anything that is electronic can be hacked and has been hacked. Look at AT&T just recently, hacked. But the interesting thing about these black box Dominion or ESNS, Hard Civic, these black box voting machines is they're very vulnerable. So what the 3 reports that are on my website that have never been debunked, what they prove is, first of all, the first one, while I was being protected under 24/7 armed security after all this broke, is that report number 1 says there were 29,000 election records that were deleted in this, what they call trusted build.
When you say 29,000 election records, are these 29,000 votes or 29,000 something else? What's an election record?
Okay, so in this case, they're electronic election records that are stored in this election management system. So the black box, the computer, right? And that is the tabulator from the tabulation. So when your ballot goes in through the tabulator, the black box, and I'll get to the report number 3 in just a moment, it's tabulated, it's counted for the person. Well, supposedly. Well, what happened in this case with the first report, we found 29,000 vital election records were deleted. And the reason we know this is the before and after image. These are the types of files that were deleted.
Let me ask you again, when you say an election record, because most of us, we don't really know what that is. When you say 29,000 election record, is that 29,000 people voting? Or an election record could be many, many thousands of people multiplied by 29,000?
Okay, I'm going to explain what that is. So these were access files, audit log files, and adjudication log files. So these are log files. So if you imagine a computer, anytime you log in and out, this computerized system keeps a record of that. Who came in, what actions they performed, what time they went out, if it was connected to the internet, what time it came in and out. Who audit log files, it's impossible to prove how you get to the result of the election. Now, they tell the clerks, the election clerks, to back up the results of the election, but these are access, audit, and adjudication log files that, if you would imagine a crime, this is the fingerprints, the blood type, this is how you got to the results. Wiped. The evidence of a crime were wiped. That was the first report. The second report, and there's people can read these reports, like I said, on the website, tinapeters.us/reports. Second report, and we gave these to law enforcement, they did nothing. Second report shows there were 36 wireless devices.
Sorry to interrupt you again. When you say you gave it to the law enforcement, which law enforcement? FBI? Who got it?
We gave it to the DA, who is
District
who is
attorney, uh-huh.
supposed to investigate election crimes. We gave it to the commissioners, who are kind of the legislative body in the township, in the town. No one did anything. Instead, they came after me.
So the system is supposed to be, hack-proof, obviously. Okay, the idea of an election in a country like the United States or Canada or Spain or France or anywhere in the first world, because they're going to tell you the Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, the Iranians, these people are all crooks, but in the United States, it's supposed to be, obviously hack-proof. And what we're seeing right now is a system fail from top to bottom. Isn't it right?
That's right. That's right. The security on these machines, or the lack of security, is kind of like what you just saw with the assassination attempt with President Trump. There is no security. These are purposely, in my opinion, designed to cheat the votes. So the second report that came out, and then I was indicted, because they need to shut up the whistleblower. Second report showed there were 36 wireless devices, these machines were even able to be accessed by a cell phone remotely. Okay?
So what you're saying is these 36 wireless devices, these devices are the voting devices, where somebody who is actually voting would vote, and that vote could be accessed through a cell phone and changed to whoever it is that these people want to change it to. Am I understanding you correctly?
That's good. That's a good explanation, but it's even bigger than that. So a bad actor remotely from another place, Secretary of State's office, Serbia, there's employees for Dominion in Serbia, and that's a foreign actor. They could access the voting equipment without the clerk or the local officials even knowing it. Now, by law, these machines cannot even be certified if they're connected to the internet or able to be connected to the internet. So these machines should have never been certified with this type of equipment, these modems inside of them.
Who gave the green light for the system to actually operate?
They're supposed to go through a certification process. We have seen just from COTS, off the shelf is what it is. We have seen that these have been, there's components from China. There's components that have been manipulated by Dominion. There's, the level of this is so global that it is, you can't just say one person.
But somebody had to give the green light. I mean, somebody signed off on these things. Somebody said, yep, I'm signing off. Here's the money for these people to actually put the system in place for Americans to vote on the elections. Who signed off on these, on the voting system?
We've got the Election Assistance Commission that's involved in.
It would have to be much higher than that. It would have to be somebody very, very high up.
Well, let me just tell you this, Merrick Garland has come after me with a vengeance. And here's the interesting thing about this, Daniel, is in 2016, the same people that are now in power, and Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi, if you watch the film Selection Code, we're all screaming about how these equipments could be hacked. And now they're eerily silent.
So they're on board. Okay, now who paid for this? I mean, so somebody had to sign off. It would have to be the President of the United States, it would have to be the Vice President, the Secretary of State, somebody in the FBI, whoever it is that signed off on it. But who paid for it?